Hey everybody, it's Triple J, and welcome back to another episode of Bountiful Bayou here in City Skylines. This is episode number 25 of this series already. I can't believe it. It feels like we're just getting started, but we're already 25 episodes in. Pretty crazy, but let's get right into it. We are taking a look at this intersection, which is, as of the last video, was a massive culprit in sort of the new stuff that we've been adding to our farms off in the distance there. We now have this really not great interchange, which is just filled with trucks. What are these? Postal trucks? Oh, those are farm trucks. Yeah, lots of farm truck traffic. People backing up onto the highway. Obviously, we're going to unlock these tiles at some point. We'll be able to sort of change up this interchange, which we talked about. But I think today, what might be valuable, and we sort of talked about this last time, is creating some sort of on-off system that is better suited for this area. And while I really do like the shape and the curves on this interchange here, I feel like we might need to make a little bit of amends to have this break off and split and potentially connect up to like over here, maybe just kind of funnel them into the center here, because while this is like lower traffic or lower speed, I mean, rather, it might create a better way for us to get on and off, and then also maybe create another way for them to get back on the highway going in this direction to then link up over to here, or even potentially have a turnaround right here, which I think will be, you know, I don't know. This is a main thoroughfare heading into our downtown area that could cause a lot of problems. You know, it's also possible that we have another connection point off of here. But this is a very, very good example of why, you know, industrial creates so much traffic. So many trucks, right? Each one of these buildings spits out so many trucks. And honestly, these silos tend to aid a lot to that. In our last build over on Twitch, when I got rid of the silos, it actually took away a lot of the trucks. And that was sort of an experiment. But the problem is I really like the silos. They look really nice, and they function well. They add to our jobs. They increase the levels of things. So let's figure out a way to keep them. I don't think we're going to expand these farms too much more. I think I would like to add maybe a few more of the fruit fields on the inside here. Maybe a couple more of the animal pastures. But I think we'll just sort of, we're going to start to leave it a little bit blank. There's a little bit of decorating I want to do yet with this as well. I want to kind of create some tree lines along some of these roads in these back areas, which I think would look really nice and add to sort of the beauty of this area. But it's getting there. I think slowly but surely we're going to keep adding to it a little bit. But the problem is this is going to have to start functioning better, because it's pretty bad now. So let's dive right into that. So I'm going to pause the game. I'm going to delete this. I'm actually going to delete that as well. So what I'm going to do is have a 2-lane highway coming off of the 3-lane. I don't know exactly how this is going to go yet, but also going to got a little bit of those trees. I think I'm going to have this start back a little bit further. Turn that on. So let me go about to there. Okay. Then this is going to link up to there. Okay. And then this is where it's going to split. This part is going to enter straight off of here. Wait a minute. Let me get rid of this real fast. I don't actually remember how I had this before, but I don't necessarily want to disturb these homes just for our sakes, I think I'm going to get rid of that house right there. I might put it back, but I just want to kind of see how this is going to look. I guess that house could stay there. It's going to do something like that. And then we're also going to have this stretch out straight. So I'm going to turn off bending. Have that go straight in. You can also use Control B to turn off the bending. That's part of road anarchy. Okay, so that's going to go into there. And then the trucks are going to go through here and link up right there. Okay. Now, we need to have this come off of here. That's going to mess with the fence, so I'm going to turn off the road collision. And I think I might actually have this turn like this. Because basically what I need to do is have this cross over, like almost link up to it. So maybe this turns back into a 2-lane. Right, like that. Now granted, this is a little messy, but I'm kind of wondering how this is going to shake out. So if I was to do something like that, right? And then that wants to do that. I'm not sure how I feel about this, if I'm honest. But it's possible that... What I'm thinking is we do something like this, right? So do a perfect curve there. And a perfect curve here. Oh, and it did kill that bit of fence, but I want to make sure that this is what I want before I go too far down the road here. So I'm just going to pull that a little bit. Just a little bit. And then we're going to go like that. So it'll reach out into this, and then this will turn back into the highway. Yeah. And then as far as this is concerned over here... could we could actually do, well, I could have another road that does something like that. Is that crazy? It might be. It actually might be terrible. But let's try and see where this leads us. It gives people some options. Because many of those trucks are going to want to kick, you know. So a lot of that traffic's going to despawn. But this will give us a good idea as to how this is going to work. And so over here... not speed. I'm actually going to say that you can turn right or straight here, but you can't go left. This is obviously a right turn only. You can do that as well. But I just kind of want to avoid maybe some of those lefts there. Now, that doesn't help this traffic getting back on over here. Not really, at least. Because all of this truck traffic is probably trying to get across and or, you know, heading in the other direction. Now, what I wanted to try is this. Give them a one-way going in either direction, a turnaround point, essentially, so that trucks that do want to get off of here can actually take this turnaround. It's very close, and it does a lot of merging, and it might slow this down a whole lot. But if I was to take this junction here, I want you to be able to go through this. I don't want a lot of stopping. And we could also adjust it so this lane isn't really being used. It's only using for turnaround. But see, look at this. Look at all of these people, because this is the fastest way out into the region. So everybody's trying to use this as a turnaround, and or now getting onto here to then potentially turn right. See, yeah. So this was an experiment, and I think this is just going to cause more issues. It's not really solving it, you know what I mean? Like we're essentially pushing the problem in a different direction. Is really what's happening here. We're not really solving anything. We just have a lot of people in this. We just have a lot of trucks in this area trying to deliver goods over to here. So what that means is, oh man, we might be better off trying to service this farming area with like some trains potentially, or having another direct route. Like if we were to create another road coming off of here that maybe snuck along the back and maybe dropped people out over to here, or some of the trucks out over to here. Also, I think it will help too when we have this connection point. When we create this connection, I think that will actually help a little bit of that, because then we'll have another on-off section. Maybe. I'm not sure. But actually, now that this kind of filtered out a little bit, this isn't actually too bad. What's going to happen, though, is it's probably going to get messy once we establish the downtown area, which we really do need to work on. Probably not in this episode, but I definitely see it working on it in the next episode. Because we do need to get to it. It's sort of that elephant in the room at this point. But yeah, we do need to get to that. This actually isn't too bad. It's more about these people trying to turn left. Yeah. Which is it's just tricky. We could always do like some sort of a tunnel system for people to get back on. You know, have them be able to turn right here, and then have another break off piece and tunnel underneath to get back onto the highway. Not sure that I want to do that. It's not as bad as it was. We certainly don't have this backup anymore, which is really, really nice. We have spread this out. Okay, maybe I take it back. Maybe it was just this influx that we were sort of dealing with. This is still not ideal, but at least we don't have people backed up out onto the highway anymore. Now we're diverting traffic as best as possible to the areas that it needs to go. And even this isn't getting that crowded, which is good to see. It's a little, maybe spaghetti, but, I don't know. Maybe it's not the worst thing. We could also have both lanes turning left. We could make this a double wide and have both of these lanes turning left. There's some other things we could do. But this is kind of what you run into with a diamond interchange. It doesn't always scale well. And we've talked about that in the past. Doesn't always scale well. Yeah, because you just have all these people getting off on the highway. But at least we're diverting this traffic before we get to the intersection. It's actually really helpful. And then we have having this direct access point off the highway onto the highway is really huge. This is generally what you want when you're creating an industrial area, especially a large industrial area like this. This is why I always say, if you're going to make industrial traffic, keep it small. Or have direct access points to the highway, right? And this is a perfect example of that. We kind of have that over here. Where is that industrial? Yeah, so we have this little bit of industrial over here. This is not, you know, this is not a lot of stuff, but it does give us some jobs that we can kind of have in the city or in town, basically, that's still, you know, disconnected enough from people. But yeah. How are the trams doing? These are full. That tram is completely full, which is great. 94. That is awesome. I fear it's probably to the detriment of the trains. 55 out of 240. Yeah. Yeah, 21 going back the other direction. I mean, not a ton, of course. But you have to think, you know, 21 people, that's, you know, potentially 21 cars that we're keeping off the road. Maybe people are coming back this way. 43, yeah. So I think, again, the tram route has sort of diluted the amount of train passengers, but I think that's okay. I'm not too concerned about it. Again, in the grand scheme, I think that'll actually be okay. And even this is thinned out a little bit, which is good. A little bit of backup here, but as long as it moves through and it's not backing up onto the highway, I'm pretty much happy, you know. You're always going to have a little bit of traffic, but that's kind of just life. That looks good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, so let's do a little bit of infrastructure over here and get ourselves prepared for, you know, putting some of this stuff in. Now, again, we are running up against this. When's our next milestone? 28,000. 28,000. Okay, but if we were to use this as like the main commercial downtown on this side of the highway, and then over here, maybe some more grids. Because I'm kind of seeing the grid pattern working through and underneath the highway here. Yeah, let's do some of that, because we could put some high density residential in here and start to really, you know, get some people moved in. I think that would do us some good. So let's get rid of this stuff here. Some of those are kind of broken. And the reason I'm getting rid of the trees, sometimes I get people ask me, like, why do you get rid of trees before you build? I may have covered this in this playthrough, but I don't actually remember. The reason I do that is because if you build, if you, like, spawn, if a house spawns over a set of trees, the trees will go away. However, the game still thinks that the trees are there. They will still be counted towards your tree count. And so it gives you a little bit of, I don't know. By eliminating those trees, it allows you to use them later, and also takes a little bit of power, you know, takes a little bit of processing power away from your computer a bit by not having the game recognize that those trees are there. So best practice, I feel like, especially if you're someone who maybe doesn't have a computer that runs Skylines super well, or you kind of run into frame rate issues, every little bit helps. So you may as well get rid of some of those trees while you can, just to save yourself maybe a little bit of headache. You never know. Okay, so I think since we're going to want to get bike lanes, you know, we're going to want bike lanes running through this entire city. Let's make sure. I want to get like an avenue. So in terms of how this works, I do want this road to be sort of the main thoroughfare. So I think if I'm going to have another road coming up through here, I'm not certain I want them connected. Or I want it to be like very low. It feels like we have to have an avenue running through here, though. It feels like we need something, you know, maybe here. And then maybe another one off of like here. And it would make sense if they would link up. But what I want to avoid is people coming off of here and then using this as a cut through instead of going around. So what I might do is lower the speed limit on this road and then increase the speed limit on here. Because again, we're not going to do a lot of zoning on this. I got to move these pillars. We're not going to do a lot of zoning on the 6-lane because I want that to be used as sort of the like inner expressway. Not quite the highway, but something if you're just getting around town. And so I want to leave it clear of zoning and or like plopping buildings. So I think that would be okay. I'm going to bring that out to about there. A little bit more, and then I want it to curve. Like that. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, and then off of the avenues, which I will zone these. I will zone these avenues. Then off the avenues, we're going to do the bike lane roads. So I'm going to do... Let's leave a gap off of that. We'll go out to there, because I want this to be pretty heavily gridded. I want this to feel very different aesthetically than these areas. Even though these are gridded, and that's all good, they're still going to have a lot more, you know, green space and the lower density and things like that. Power? Whoa, okay. Interesting. Well... let's put down a geothermal plant right there. I wasn't expecting to run into power issues today. This island just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Oh, well. That's okay. That's okay. This will go out to about there. Cut down. And then I think I'm just going to pull this. And that's not actually going to connect. It'll just connect up to there. It doesn't really matter if it did. But I'm just going to avoid that connecting to it. And that dips, doesn't it? Make sure I'm on the right plane. Why is that dipping? I guess I'll just raise it myself. There we go. Oops. Probably should lower the brush strength on that. Yeah, something like that. We can mess with that later, but just want to get that power down. It should help us, get us a little bit of a boost, but we're going to need more soon, though. A lot of power. We're growing. It's getting pretty big. Okay, let's keep working on some of this before we, again, run out of time. Goodness. So I will do... yeah, these are all going to be fairly close together. I think as I move out over here, I'll have more space. Like maybe on this side, we'll do a little bit more space between them. Like maybe like 3, you know? That connects. This is going to run all the way down, and what we'll do is that's just going to end. Because people can walk on this, so if someone's walking down this avenue, this is a connection point for pedestrians, which is good. Now, I don't know if that's how that's all gonna work, but I actually don't know that I want that connection point. I think I'd rather have it give us a little bit of a gap there. Something like that-ish. love it if that was straight. For some reason, it's giving me the weird zoning there, which is fine. I don't know if that's going to happen, go all the way up like that, but... And again, we'll do something like that. Something like that. This is the best, in my opinion, if you're going to do a downtown area. This is the best way to do, because I'm not going to put the cul-de-sacs, because you know I don't like dead-end roads. However, if you're going to do a dead-end road, this is the way to do it. Because then at least it feels integrated, like it just doesn't sort of end. So, let's just start to place down. Put a crossing there. And then maybe another one like underneath. I think that we could... Let's get like a bigger hospital in here. That could serve us well. Now that could be something that would be on the main freeway here. That I don't mind. You know, if it's few and far between, it's kind of a nice bigger building. Do a little of that. I guess we are working a little on the downtown today. But I kind of want to just get some more people in here to really start boosting our population. So we have healthcare, death care. Let's pop down. We can do one of those for now. Let's get a fire station. We should do a big fire station, like right off of that. A big police station. Maybe a big police station next to it, like that. We're gonna want some schools. Definitely get down the community school. That goes. You know, we can use this little area kind of nicely for a little bit of like a school area. To move these pillars. We can always move some of this stuff around too later, but right now building downtown, so you kind of need to get a feel for it. Like I don't know exactly the flow of everything yet, so you kind of just need to build a little bit of an area to sort of get an idea of what it's going to look like, how it's going to feel, where things are going to move. You know, where is the kind of the hub. Because you can plan, but sometimes you just don't know where everything is going to kind of live, if that makes sense, until you start plopping it down. So, playground, right under the highway, perfect. That's what all the kids want. Now, can I do a high school right there? Is that silly? Might be silly. What if we did it? What if we did it over here and kind of use that curve? That's kind of nice. That's kind of nice. We can almost fence around this too. Where is the gymnasium or the community pool? Gymnasium. That could go over here. That could go over there. I mean, this is a downtown area, right? It's definitely, you know, a lot more of like an urban setting. So like, yeah, I mean, kids might go to school here. It's totally legitimate, I think. This is just where you have to build stuff if you live in the city, you know? And then as far as the parks go, let's try to get down like a tennis court, maybe, behind here. Basketball court next to the gymnasium, methinks. Yeah. Yeah, I think that totally works. Sneak that behind there. Okay, we can mess around with that more later, but that kind of does what we need. And then essentially all of this like high density residential. Again, we're not zoning on this road. But we can zone like onto, you know, real close to it like that. That's what these little jut out roads kind of give you as well. And then maybe on the other side, high density commercial, I don't think so. Maybe some low density on that side. Maybe some right there as well. A little bit more of this. Again, some of this might go away. But just kind of giving us a little bit of a boost to kind of see what we're dealing with here in terms of the population. We've been kind of sitting sub 20 for quite a while now, so. But I think it's a good start. You kind of just have to do it, you know? Some of this may shift. It might look a little bit different in a few episodes, but for right now, I think you kind of just need to go for it. But yeah. Well, everybody, I think that is going to do it for this episode. But we've started to move into the downtown. This feels good. I think this will start to feel real nice as we move forward. A little bit more compact into here, but then again, we'll kind of separate them a little bit more as we get further out. But this is still very much downtown. I mean, if this is going to be commercial proper, yeah, absolutely. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Bountiful Bayou here in City Skylines. Bye, everybody.